Good evening. A survey shows Japanese firms reconsidering staff transfers. The coronavirus pandemic has changed the nature of work in Japan, with remote work becoming increasingly common. Not really with my company. A January 2023 Tokyo government survey found that more than 80% of the city's large companies were allowing employees to work remotely at least some of the times. And Mainichi Shimbun survey has found that 44% of major Japanese companies have changed or are considering changing their employee transfer systems. Japanese traditional employee transfer system typically sees new workers in large companies trained at the head office before being sent to work at the faraway branches or affiliates, with 3 or 4 transfers not uncommon over 10 years. That's true. This was seen as advantageous as employees would experience various sides of the company's operations before returning to take more senior roles. But in summer 2022, the Mainichi Shimbun surveyed 104 major companies that had historically used the transfer system. 12 of the companies said they had changed their transfer policies since the pandemic began, and another 34 said they were considering doing so. 10 companies said they had reduced or were thinking about reducing the number of employees being transferred. Another 10 said they had considered or already started using a system in which the employee could delay their transfers for a time. And 20 companies said they were allowing or considering allowing employees to live far outside commuting distance from their offices. Letting people live around Osaka even if their office is in the Tokyo area, for example. Even before the pandemic, younger employees were increasingly resisting transfers, with many saying that they didn't want to leave their families, as well as noting the cost of moving and the emotional stress of starting a new life in a new place. In the Mainichi survey, 35 of the companies said some of their employees had even quit because of the transfers. Speaking to the Mainichi journalist Madoka Nakano suggested that the changes to the Japanese working environment brought by the coronavirus had led people to consider the value of the transfer system. I agree about saying no to the transfers. Discussion: what are your thoughts on Mainichi Shimbun's findings? How common are employee transfers at your company? Would you be willing to move for work if you had to? Do you know anyone who has moved for work? Do your company allow people to work remotely? When did it start doing this? For the discussion, how has your workplace changed since the start of the pandemic? Do you imagine you will start work for the same company 5 years from now? Do you know anyone who lives a long way from their workplace? Which of your friends or family loves their jobs the most? No man can be successful unless he first loves his work. David Sarnoff. What do you make of this statement? Good.